Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So it's been a little while since I've done some monster lists, so let's go ahead and I'll do a few of those. And then this will be about limited time max lux that are available only for a certain amount of time. And yeah, I'm calling this the version 8 edition because I think this year the release of version 8.0 is going to be kind of the biggest event. So in order to sort of designate the kind of the time when these lists are, you know, very current, attaching it to the version 8.0 release, I think, is a easy way to tell where it is in the sequence of events. Alrighty, and then I will not be doing lists now of like best max lux by element, since I already kind of did that in the library recommended max lux. So you can refer to that for max lux that are available all the time. And then I don't know how useful this list is going to be to people since none of these characters are available now, but it can kind of reaffirm max lux that you already have, or else serve as a list of characters to look out for in case they do come back. Alright, but anyway, let's move ahead. We will look at Wood Noel first, and she is a Pierce with null damage wall, and that's very rare for wood characters. The only other one being Gigamantis, actually. That's available at all times. And yeah, I'll also be kind of offering alternatives to all of these limited max lux in case you wanted something similar that is available all the time. But yeah, the reason why I like this character in particular is for her bump combo. She has the homing shot, whereas Gigamantis has a laser. And then where I use her the most is in hunting for water dragon gems. Other characters that I use in that quest, like Ibaraki Dolji, you can, combine all of those homing shots together to get a lot of damage out at once. And then she's also a Pierce, so that makes it very easy for her to hit her teammates. And then in a couple of ways, she has better stats than Gigamantis as well, so that can be another good reason to use her. Okay, next, number 9, this is Daisy, and she was available during January. She's a New Year's character, and I also really like her for hunting for dragon gems. And she's kind of a quadruple threat in that way. One, she has no gravity barrier, that's the gimmick that you want to address there. Two, she's got Fiend Slayer. All of the bosses are fiends across all of the elements, so she can do extra damage there. 3, she's a Pierce, so she can get out more of her teammates' bump combos. And then 4th, finally, she has a Blast Bump combo. So even when it's not her turn, she can still get out more bump combos. So yeah, she's pretty great there. And then an alternative to her, if you wanted a Blast Bump combo, you could get Surtur. If you wanted a Pierce, you could get Rakshasa Ascension. But there's no other drop character that has both the Pierce and the Gravity Barrier and the Blast Bump combo, so... Okay, and then next, number 8, this is Rip and Reaper Jack, and then he is unique at the moment. There's no real replacement for him. He is a Dark with Pierce and Null Warp. There is Tsukuyomi, but she is an impossible monster. And then there was Melonhead, but he is no longer available. He was in last summer's limited time event. Other benefits to this guy, he has a Recovery S, so you can get some hit points back for you. But his gauge is not the typical Recovery S speed. It's regular speed, so it's easier to use. He also has a powerful bump combo, which I would say is pretty easy to use and position for. Especially because he's a Pierce. And then he has a Null Everything Strike Shot, which is good on any drop monster, basically. So yeah, Rip and Reaper Jack, number 8. And then number 7 is Rotbone here. And he is great because he's basically a turret. He's got a very strong bump combo, the lock-on one-way laser, and then against sprite bosses he gets extra damage. And so he's especially useful in dark and light Murasame, And then you could also take him to like Noko. But outside of sprite bosses, he's very easy to get a replacement for, and that is Satellite. That's another dark character with a lock-on one-way laser. But she does have flight, so she can deal with one gimmick, whereas Rotbone can't deal with any of them. So he's pretty easy to replace, I would say. But yeah, for Light and Dark Murasame, he was really helpful for me, so I was grateful to have him. Okay, so what is that, number 6 now? This is Ogron, and he was available the last 2 Christmases. That was nice. He's not a great source of damage. His attack is pretty high, but he's a good support character in that he has the double null, so he can go to lots of quests, and then he has the blast bump combo, so he can help get out lots of bump combos. And then his strike shot is difficult to use, but there are certain times where it is very powerful, and you can get consistent damage from that. And that is when the boss is in a corner, and then you shoot Ogron so that it kind of like gets into that alleyway in between the boss and the corner. Not a lot of situations, but there are some, like the very last stage of the floor 34. He can be powerful there. Okay, so next is number 5, and this is one that just came and went. This is Skull Dragon, and as you can see, I have not made the max luck of him. And the reason why I didn't do that is because there are so many other wood bounce max lucks available. Now this guy is not super necessary, but he is very strong. He does have the Mech Slayer, so he can do additional damage against mechs, which are all over the place. The big reason to use him, though, is for his strike shot. It's the same as Vanilla Ascension, where he can change back and forth between bounce or pierce. So he's very versatile and a great support character. There will be no multiplier to his stats when you do make him into a pierce. So you can't rely on damage for that. But just for mobility, he'd be really good for that. Alright, so that was number 5, Skull Dragon. And then number 4 is... this is Cubade here. And in a lot of ways she's similar to Rip and Reaper Jack. She has a Null Warp and Recovery S, but with a regular speed gauge, which is awesome. And then she has a bounce. And there is one dark bounce Null Warp character. I think it's Vishnu or Krishna, one of those. And then that character is okay, because she has a blast bump combo, so that can be useful. But as for recovery, she's the only one. And then she has a very strong bump combo, the lock-on Pierce Wave. That's one of the best bump combos for a drop monster. And then she has a 16-turn command strike shot, which is also pretty darn good. So yeah, that was number 4, Cubade. And her chances of her coming back are pretty good, so keep an eye out for her. Okay, next is number 3, and that is the Christmas character. And this is Noel, Fire Noel, the Ascension version. And she's a bounce with a null damage wall, and she has a Beast Slayer, and she has no gauge, which is pretty awesome. A lot of the fire null damage wall bounce characters, they have a gauge. So this is a nice change here. And she has a critical, which means she can increase her damage. And then kind of the big deal about her is that she has a speed up S bump combo. There are very, very, very few drop monsters with a speed up. So she's very useful there. And she can be really great for Hako, actually. She has a Beast Slayer, which works against the mobs there. And then she has the speed up, so of course more hits means taking down more mobs per turn. And then, yeah, it's still going to be a while before we get an impossible monster that is a fire, that is bounce, with a null damage wall. So her and then every other drop monster like that is going to be useful. Alternatives to her would be, there's quite a few again, Hydra, Fenrir X, Gargoyle, So yeah, you could make any of those, but none of them have speed up. So if you do have this one, then definitely hang on to her. The number 2 character, and this is Olive. And then very few people are going to make the max luck of her. But just if you could, and it is doable since we have a full year to do it, she would be number 2, the second most powerful max luck. And there are some alternatives to her available. You could get a Circuit, who is another Pierce Wood with no gravity barrier, or Cholsen, yeah, and she has no gravity barrier and no warp and is a Pierce. So those are 2 alternatives. But they don't have like the tons of abilities that Olive has. And those abilities being Heart Barrier, so that's like a mini barrier that Lucifer has. And then also Gravity Barrier Slayer, and so any character with a gravity barrier around it, you can do extra damage against them. And then the bump combo for the Heart, Energy Heart, and this can't be blocked by anything, so this is good damage and guaranteed damage. And then the bump combo, which is a speed and power up, which is one of the best for drop monsters. So yeah, although most of us are not going to get the max luck of Olive, myself included, in theory she is the second most powerful, so that's why I included her here. Okay, and then finally the top limited max luck is Chainbound Jack, also from the previous Halloween event. And he has excellent abilities, great bump combo and strike shot, and he has no alternatives. There are no other characters with flight and no gravity barrier and being a Pierce that are drop monsters, so he's unique in that respect. And then he has a Meteor Strike Shot, which is awesome as well, especially for no gravity barrier characters. And then he also has the lock-on Pierce Wave bump combo, which is a good source of damage for a drop monster. So yeah, all of that put together makes him number 1. It also makes him irreplaceable. You can get other light characters that are Pierce with like no gravity barrier, like Ghoulie, or you can get a flight no gravity barrier combination, like with Queen Butterfly or Tengu, but none of them have the damage output that Chainbound Jack has. So yeah, if you have him, definitely take advantage of him, and then he's going to be very useful in the upcoming year as well. So yeah, that was my top 10 limited max lucks. And then if these guys appear again sometime this year, definitely take the chance. Take the time to make the max luck of them. Alrighty, thanks for watching. Take care.